Hi, I'm Carl Niehaus, and this is In My Crosshairs, Conversations with Carl Niehaus. Here I will talk about my own views and also interview thought leaders and political players throughout our country and internationally. You as viewers are invited to participate, to share with each other, to invite other viewers, to register, and of course, all important, hit that notification bell so that you're always part of this important conversation and engagement on our revolutionary journey for a more just and radically transformed South Africa.
Isibongo zika Carl Niehaus. Angazitha omhlophe kwaundaba ezitha. Inyoni emhlophe kwajengelanda ephula amaphiwa zamazama umhlaba. Inkanyamba endizele phezulu wanyakazi bhakabhaka upangazitha omhlophe kwaundaba ezitha umshawo wathi monopoly capital elanga lishisa babaleka ongqowa kunezise inkulu bacasha patriot labazonina imthande lapha ethi mahashula kanacala upangazitha imthande lapha ethi FIFA ngamalala upangazitha imthande lapha ethi umnotho nomhlaba ufinyelele ezandleni zabantu abamnyama omhlophe kwaundaba ezitha imthande ngokutusa nokukhuthaza i-radical economic transformation wangadikibala Carl Niehaus umafele empini njengesotsha uma kade bona eHollywood lesihonga amazi kahle amabhunu bandlulula abaleka abayimbona umbulali wabulala apartheid ngamazwi umthakatho indaba walo mbuso bandlululo kade South Africa yaba kwidemocracy isibhamu esikhumela thule house bathukizana uSirili onondaba bahleka abafayitsini kwemagwalandini la kuyofika khona umkhonto esizwe kuyoqhumisa.
Hello again. This is In My View, and today I want to talk about the insidious role of the media in South Africa, and specifically the mainstream media. During the last week, we've had a casebook example of how the media deal with critical developments in our country. Recently, President Cyril Ramaphosa was caught red-handed, committing a series of very serious crimes, from exchange rate violations to abductions of people across borders of our country to torture. And yet we had a mainstream media, and among them News 24 and also the Daily Maverick, yes, of course, that international, well-paid American propaganda rag, the Daily Maverick. And they were trying to say this is all a conspiracy. Instead of dealing with these very serious crimes that President Ramaphosa had been caught to have been part of, or to have abetted others around him to carry out, they were complaining that it is a conspiracy because the so-called radical economic transformation forces want to undermine the wonderful President Cyril Ramaphosa. Instead of dealing with the issues, they tried to undermine the integrity, the believability of Mr. Arthur Fraser, who brought those charges against President Cyril Ramaphosa at the Rosebank police station. You see, it doesn't matter who brought those charges. It doesn't matter in which context it happens and what the timing is. The issue is, had criminality taken place, yes or not? The issue is, can one allow the number one citizen of your country to undermine the laws of that country and to act in contravention of the oath of office that he had laid down? But no, our media was not interested in that. They tried to cover it up as much as possible. And oh wow, were they happy when the two Gupta brothers were arrested fortuitously And I say it sarcastically because I believe there had been very clear coordination between these two events. In fact, I believe it was orchestrated that the Gupta brothers were arrested in order to try and push this major misactions and criminal activity of President Ramaphosa from the front pages of the newspapers and off the screens of our televisions. And of course, wow, our mainstream media obliged. Journalists such as Ferial Hafaji and Stephen Grootes could not even hide their excitement that they now had another story to talk about. You see, the problem that we are faced with is that our journalists are in the pockets of their white monopoly capitalist bosses. To use that common phrase which people use on the streets, they sing for their supper. They do not care about true objective journalism. They know in whose employ they are. They know who they must serve. And they know that those bosses want Cyril Ramaphosa to be in control. Because Cyril Ramaphosa and the bought National Executive Committee that he managed to accumulate around himself with the 1 billion plus rands that he used to bribe their positions into the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress are the agents of big white monopoly capital, not just in South Africa, but internationally. So the media is not there to inform us. The media is not there to report objectively. The media is not there to keep people like Cyril Ramaphosa and the thugs around him accountable. They will tell us that they're there to do all these things. Go and read the intro to the headmast of the Daily Maverick. We are here for truth. We are here against corruption. We want to build an accountable society. Wow. But the last week, Ferial Hafaji wrote, the radical economic transformation forces in South Africa do not care a damn about the future of South Africa because they attack President Cyril Ramaphosa. So if you attack someone who behaves criminally, if you raise concerns about the massive gap between the rich and the poor, about the PPE corruption, the largest since the dawn of democracy, under the watch of President Ramaphosa, then you do not care for your country. So it's not about care. It's not about proper reporting. It is not about making sure that our society will become a better society. It's about being in the service of your white monopoly capitalist owners. We've seen it in the past under apartheid. We've seen the Stratcom operations, the manner in which one of the greatest liberation heroes of our time, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, was vilified. How one lie after the other was told about her. And only after she passed on, we started to realize the huge disservice, the huge harm, the pain that had been inflicted on her. We have many other examples. President Jacob Zuma, who has been vilified for the last 22 years. The Secretary General of the African National Congress, Comrade Ace Magashule, who is consistently vilified in the media. And while this in my view, is not about myself, even myself. I've been vilified as if I'm a fraudster, as if I made all kinds of criminal acts. And yet there's not been a single charge, not even a charge, brought against me. Yet I have a letter from the National Prosecuting Authority, who years ago, in response to a request from my lawyers, said, we've got no problem with Mr. Niehaus. We are investigating no crimes against him. He has committed no crime. But if you read the newspapers, you would believe the exact opposite. You see, there's a concept in the academic analysis of journalism which is called manufactured outrage, where a population is manipulated to get angry, where a population is manipulated to become fearful, to hate, to attack those who want to see change and improvement in their lives. And strangely enough, those who are their enemies are made to look like their friends. Those who destroy their lives, create their unemployment, destroy the structures of the economy that should empower the majority of people here in South Africa, especially black and specifically African, are made to be the enemy. The policy of radical economic transformation has been vilified. It has become a swear word, courtesy of these pseudo-media hacks. But now we will take back control. The social media platforms that are available to us, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all of those we will use. This YouTube channel, In My Crosshairs, that I've now relaunched, which is becoming an interactive channel integrated on many different social media platforms, is my small and humble attempt to try and counter the propaganda, and I dare say the evil propaganda, of those who do not care about news and who do not care about the people of our country, but care only about their bosses and the little crumbs, the pitiful little crumbs that they can lap up from the table of their masters, selling their birthright and selling the birthright of our country, as the Bible describes, literally, for a pot of lentil soup. Shame on them. Shame on our horrific, unprofessional, propagandistic media. But we will take you on. We will challenge you. Like David, we will come for you, the Goliath. And ultimately, the truth will prevail.
Isibongo sika Niehaus. Isibongo sika Niehaus. Bangazitha. Inyoni emhlophe kwanjengelanda ebhula amaphiwa zamazama umhlaba. Inkanyamba endizele phezulu wanyaka sibhakabhaka. Ushawat monopoly capital ilanga lishisa babaleko ngqoka kulezi senkulu baqesha phansi wedaba zonina imthande lapha ethi mahashula kanacala umpangazida imthande lapha ethi viva nqamalala umpangazida imthande lapha ethi umnotho nomhlaba ufinyelele ezandleni zabantu abamnyama umhlophe eqwandaba ezitha imthande ngokuhlusa nokukhuthaza iradical economic transformation wangadlike bala Niehaus umafele empinje ngesoja uma kade bona eHollywood olesihonga amazi kahle amabhunu obandlulula yabaleka ama embona umbulali wabulala apartheid ngamazwi